Yo, what is good, everyone? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prodigy channel, and today I have yet another fantasy football trade review to go over for you guys for the 2021 fantasy football season. This was a redraft league trade. It's a full PPR league that I made this trade in, and every time I make a trade in one of these leagues, I like to just make a video to show you guys what trades are actually going on in real life, and so I can kind of talk through why I made that trade, give a little bit of context for you guys out there. So before we get into the actual trade, make sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more fantasy football content so you can stay notified of when I'm posting more stuff. And without further ado, let's get right into this trade. So like I said, redraft, full PPR league. I traded away Damien Harris, running back of the New England Patriots, along with Sterling Shepard, a wide receiver for the New York Giants. And in return, I received Miles Sanders, running back of the Philadelphia Eagles. So, Miles Sanders and Damien Harris are pretty similar in fantasy value as of now, in my opinion. Damien Harris has been solid all season. He hasn't really been involved in the passing game, but lately Miles Sanders hasn't really been either. He's probably good for maybe another reception or two over Damien Harris. And on top of that, Miles Sanders has been injured lately, and I did make a buy low, sell high video where I said Miles Sanders was a buy low coming back from injury, but I even said in that video, going against the New Orleans Saints, that is a tough matchup. He might not have the best game against the Saints, and he did not have the greatest game, but I said after that his schedule really opens up. So I'm just going to kind of go through this trade. We're going to start off by telling you why I like Miles Sanders and why I traded away the players that I did. But first, let's go over Miles Sanders here. So, like I said, he was a little disappointing to start the season. Then he got injured, missed a few games. But since then, the Eagles have really been running the ball. And Miles Sanders returned. He got 16 carries. And while he projects to be their lead running back, the Eagles have, in the last handful of years, in the recent past, they have been a running back by committee type of team, similar to the New England Patriots. I'll get into that later. But with that being said, I do think Miles Sanders should be the lead running back moving forward, the head of that committee. Two things to note. Jordan Howard did get injured in this game against the Saints. I'm not sure how long he will be out for, if he will miss any time at all. But that only boosts Miles Sanders' value in the short term. Because if Jordan Howard is healthy, I do expect him to get a handful of touches here and there. And in this game against the Saints, he saw 16 carries, which is actually a season high right away coming back from injury. So that was good to see. He did, however, fumble in this game, and he lost one fumble, I believe. And then there was another fumble that he almost lost, or it got reversed or something. I'm not sure. But basically, he's got some ball security problems. So if that continues to creep up, he could get in the coach's doghouse. So there is some risk with Miles Sanders. But if you take a look at his schedule moving forward, he's got the Giants, the Jets, a bye week, Washington, the Washington football team, the New York Giants again, and then the Washington football team again. None of those matchups scare me at all. This Philadelphia Eagles offense, they can put up points. They can run the ball. And while this is a committee backfield and Jalen Hurts, their starting quarterback, does take some of those rushing opportunities away, Jalen Hurts will run the ball. He might steal a couple goal line touchdowns, just rushing them in on passing plays or designed runs. But even with that being said, great matchups. Miles Sanders is a talented player. He has big play ability. And like I said, he usually is good for, 3 catches. It looks like it's pretty common for him. 4, 1, 3, 3, 5, 2, 1. That's usually more than what Damien Harris is seeing. So long story short, Miles Sanders, he's not this elite locked-in option, but I think he has a good schedule. He's talented, and I think he presents a little bit more upside even in a committee than Damien Harris does in his committee in New England. And there's a couple of reasons for that. So in New England, they have long had a committee approach to their backfield. This year in particular, obviously after the James White injury, he was no longer involved because he's been out for the year, but we've seen Brandon Bolden get a little involved, a little bit of J.J. Taylor, and lately Ramondre Stevenson, another fellow running back for the New England Patriots, has really been getting involved in the New England Patriots backfield. So it used to kind of be where Damien Harris had the rushing work. That was his thing, and then the receiving work would often go to like Brandon Bolden or someone else, right? Well, now that Ramondre Stevenson is playing a little bit more and he's being very involved on the ground and through the air, I think that just limits Damien Harris a little bit more than it once did. So if you're talking about lead running back Damien Harris versus committee running back Miles Sanders, then, this trade is a little bit more questionable. But now that Ramondre Stevenson is kind of eating into Damien Harris's touches, at least as of week 10, because they were both healthy that game, that's what we saw on the field. We do have to note, though, that the Patriots did blow out the Falcons, so maybe Stevenson just saw more work because of the game script. But either way, I do think Stevenson will be involved moving forward. And in addition to that, Damien Harris, he has, in my opinion, a little tougher matchups for the rest of the way than Miles Sanders does. He gets the Tennessee Titans. Their defense is kind of hard to read. They started pretty bad, then they kind of got on a roll, then they just lost to the Houston Texans, so I'm not sure. So that matchup is kind of iffy, but then he has the Buffalo Bills twice, which is a brutal matchup. I guess Jonathan Taylor just put up 5 touchdowns against them, but other than that, it's a brutal matchup for running backs. They have the Indianapolis Colts, which is a bad matchup for running backs. He also has a bye week, just like Miles Sanders, so they both have a bye week coming up. And then the championship, they play Jacksonville, who has actually been pretty solid defensively lately. They haven't, you see Jacksonville, and you might think, oh, it's an easy matchup. No, they've been pretty solid lately. So I guess this trade really came down to, I think Miles Sanders has a little more upside than Damien Harris. I think Damien Harris will see, 10 to 15 touches most weeks, not a lot of passing game involvement, and he'll be solid. But with these matchups, with his lack of passing game involvement, with the Ramondre Stevenson kind of making his mark on this team, I think now is a good time to sell high on Damien Harris. And the other part of this trade, obviously, was Sterling Shepard, who, solid depth piece. He's been injured for a while. He should be coming back soon. But I did just pick this guy up of waivers November 17th. It's currently November 23rd. So I picked this guy up like a week ago. So, it's not like this is someone that I've been holding on to for super long or relying on, right? I just threw him in there. Plus, I do have Kadarius Toney. So that's another piece of that New York Giants passing game that maybe down the stretch Toney gets more involved. We'll have to see how that plays out. But in the end, we do get Miles Sanders. And I think if you look at my team makeup, I have a very solid team. I'm first in my conference, 7-4. We got the quarterback position locked down with Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. I picked up Russell Wilson after he got injured. At running back, we got Dalvin Cook. Cordero Patterson should be coming back. I wish Calvin Ridley was playing at wide receiver for me. That kind of hurt our depth a little bit. But we got AB, Hunter Renfrow, Darnell Mooney. So basically at running back with Dalvin Cook and Cordero Patterson, I'd rather take a little bit of an upside play with Miles Sanders. And even with that being said, even if I wanted security, man, like there is a little risk with Miles Sanders because, like I mentioned earlier, he did have some ball security issues in that last game, but he's so explosive, and I just can't see the Eagles completely taking his role away. And even if he doesn't see a ton of volume, his schedule moving forward is very nice, whereas Damien Harris is a little bit tough. So I think I've talked about this trade enough. I don't want to make this video too long. I just like to walk through these trades for you. Plus, one more thing before we end up the video. So this trade hasn't gone through yet. Once it does, Damien Harris will be out. We'll get Miles Sanders for the rest of the season, pending health, and staying out of the coach's doghouse. He'll get his nice little schedule. So picture Miles Sanders right here. And then we will not have Sterling Shepard, but we will free up a roster spot. So when you're making a 2-for-1 trade, you're not just getting the player in return that is part of the trade, you're also freeing up a roster spot so you can pick someone up off of the waiver wire. And let's just say if Cordero Patterson or Antonio Brown misses or Mooney misses, I can throw them on the IR. Then all of a sudden I have 2 spots to add players. But actually, do I have some pending claims right now? Yeah, I do. So as of now, the top options on the waiver wire, in my opinion, are Elijah Moore, Ramondre Stevenson, Tony Pollard. Those are some really nice options I like targeting. So in this trade, even though these weren't part of the trade, these are players that I can now add to my lineup because I freed up that roster spot. So Elijah Moore, he seems like he might be a breakout candidate for the New York Jets moving forward. Ramondre Stevenson, I talked about him already in this video in the New England backfield. He seems to be getting more and more involved. When you watch him play, he looks explosive. And what I like about him is it seems like Bill Belichick will either hand him the ball or give him a couple targets here and there. So I think Stevenson, while Damien Harris has more value as of now, with how things play out, you never know. They might be like a nice little 1-2 punch where both are pretty similar in value. And what I gained back in Ramondre Stevenson, it kind of makes up for what I lost in Damien Harris if I do end up adding him to the team. And then Tony Pollard, he's just a nice little handcuff for Ezekiel Elliott. Darrell Williams is on bye. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back for the Kansas City Chiefs. So, and I think Zeke is a little bit banged up. So since Darrell Williams is on bye, I figured I'd put in a claim for Pollard in case I don't get either of these two. But yeah, that just frees up a spot. And speaking of freeing up a spot, I know it says that I would drop Darrell Williams as a part of this. If any of these guys, well, this trade is going to go through till the 25th. So waivers are going to run before the trade goes through. But then once the trade does go through, maybe I can pick up Darrell Williams again or one of those other guys that I like on the waiver wire. So yeah, I think I rambled about this trade enough. I really like doing these videos so you guys can see what actual trades are going down in real leagues. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember to drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more fantasy football content, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.